The world of One Piece is filled with ridiculously overpowered characters, but what if you could pick the absolute best traits from across the entire series to make one character to beat them all? In today's video, we're creating the strongest character in One Piece history by mixing and matching the most broken abilities the Grand Line has to offer. Now before we dive in, let's lay out the ground rules. We can take only one trait from any given character, so for example, I can't just use someone incredibly strong like Roger or Imu for multiple traits. Alright, so let's start with the foundation, our character's race. Now you might think it would be better to go with a naturally strong race like the Giants or Lunarians, but this isn't a smart strategy, since their abilities will overlap with other traits like strength or durability. So for the race, we're going with the Three-Eyed Tribe, because these guys have access to something absolutely game-changing. The Three-Eyed Tribe is the only species that naturally possesses the ability to hear the voice of all things. This ability is pretty crazy, because it lets you communicate with Sea Kings, read poneglyphs, and understand the voices of all intelligent living beings. You'd have access to ancient secrets, the ability to decipher the road poneglyphs, and a sixth sense that pairs perfectly with observation haki. But before we get into haki, let's cover something more straightforward like durability. There's only one choice here, and that's Kaido, King of the Beasts. This guy is literally known as the strongest creature in the world, and when it comes to pure durability, no one else even comes close. The man has been captured by the Marines or rival Yonko crews and sentenced to death 40 times, and he survived every single execution attempt because the execution weapons broke. Kaido even jumped off a Sky Island and fell 10,000 meters to the ground, and the only damage he experienced was a mild headache. Add to that fact that all these feats came without his Devil Fruit abilities or Armament haki, meaning that Kaido is near indestructible when he's fighting seriously. One trait that goes perfectly with durability is endurance, which is the ability to keep going even after taking tremendous amounts of damage. Once again, this pick isn't even mildly difficult, because of the man who stood tall at Marineford to save his son, Edward Newgate. At the Battle of Marineford, Whitebeard was 72 years old, terminally ill and literally on life support. However, even after losing half his head, taking 267 sword wounds, 152 bullet wounds, and being hit by 46 cannonballs, Whitebeard still towered over the battlefield and never fell to his knees. The crazy part? His back had 0 scars because he never ran from a fight in his entire life. Our next characteristic is pure physical strength, and this is why I didn't pick giants as our character race. Now, there are some incredibly strong giants who have been staples in the series, like Dory and Broggy, but there's one giant we saw in Elbaf who might surpass even them. That giant is Loki, who has been hyped as possessing legendary strength even among the giants. This guy is so strong that he can wield the giant warhammer Ragnir with ease, even when he's weakened by being chained to sea stone. The giants of Elbaf have repeatedly called Loki a monster, and that's saying something considering that these guys can naturally crush buildings and fight Sea Kings with their bare hands. We've already covered Loki's weapon here, but I think we can do better with our next pick. Every legendary fighter needs a legendary weapon, and honestly, there's nothing in One Piece that beats the 12 supreme grade swords. Among them, we have permanent black blades that are created when a swordsman imbues their weapon with armament haki over countless battles. This transformation makes the blade nearly indestructible, and exponentially more powerful. And the blade we're choosing here is the world's strongest swordsman's signature weapon, Yoru. This sword is so sharp and durable that Mihawk can casually slice icebergs in half from miles away. The fact that Mihawk wields this massive crucifix-shaped blade with one hand, despite it being taller than him, just shows how beautifully balanced it is, making it the perfect pick for our character. Speaking of balance, it's not enough for a character to have great physical traits. Their mental game needs to be strong as well. Now you might think the best pick for intelligence would be Dr. Vegapunk, but you'd be wrong, because his intelligence comes from his Devil Fruit. Picking Dr. Vegapunk's Devil Fruit would be a waste, since there are far more broken abilities out there. So our choice for intelligence and the smartest man in East Blue is Ben Beckman. Beckman's authority among the Red Hair Pirates is on par with Shanks, and his strategic mind makes the Red Hair Pirates incredibly dangerous, despite having the smallest crew of any Yonko. During the Marineford War, Beckman's mere presence with a gun was enough to make Admiral Kizaru stop moving, showing the level of respect his intellect and tactical awareness commands. While intelligence is great, any fighter also needs high battle IQ, and this is a pretty tough pick because we have incredible legends from the old era like Sengoku, Akainu, Whitebeard, and Shanks. But hear me out, the actual highest battle IQ we've seen in the series is actually from Trafalgar D. Water Law. Think about it. Law's Ope Ope no Mi is practically useless in the hands of someone that can't think fast and calculate multiple variables in the heat of battle. He creates rooms, swaps positions, and combines his Devil Fruit powers with his swordsmanship in creative ways that can catch even Yonko off guard, as he helped defeat Big Mom by constantly adapting his strategy mid-battle. Law's fighting style is all about surgical precision, and combining his battle IQ with our character's other abilities means they'd never waste a moment, always finding the most efficient path to victory. Being able to think quickly is useless if you're not fast enough to execute those plans, so our character will need some pretty serious speed. Kizaru seems like the obvious pick here, but once again, his speed comes from the Pika Pika no Mi, so using that is out of the question. So for speed, we're taking a character who could keep up with Kizaru with no devil fruit at all at the ripe old age of 78, the Dark King himself, Silver's Rayleigh. Rayleigh's combat reflexes are so refined that he can draw his sword, coated in haki, and strike before opponents even realize he's moved. His movement is so smooth and efficient that it looks effortless, and that's exactly the kind of speed we need. Now we're getting to the really broken stuff, and for our character's devil fruit, we're obviously picking the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. The world government spent 800 years trying to capture this fruit and even changed its name to Gomu Gomu no Mi to hide its true nature. Think about it. Luffy's devil fruit doesn't just make him rubber, it transforms you into the sun god Nika, the warrior of liberation. This form grants him the freedom to fight however he imagines, limited only by his creativity. With imagination as the only limit, this devil fruit is the perfect foundation to build our character into a god-tier threat. The only thing more important than a strong devil fruit in One Piece is haki, so we need to lock in for the next 3 picks. Let's talk about Conquerors first. The qualifier for this is pretty simple, because we know that it grows stronger in people with a stronger will to rule. That means the best pick for Conqueror's haki is that of the Pirate King himself, Gold D. Roger. Roger's Conqueror's haki was so powerful that he could clash with Whitebeard and split the sky without their weapons even touching. We also know that Roger never ate a devil fruit, which means that his entire legendary strength came purely from his haki. He conquered the Grand Line, reached Laugh Tale, and became Pirate King using nothing but raw haki and swordsmanship. When Rayleigh described Roger's abilities, he made it clear that Roger's haki was in a league of its own, meaning our character would have the power to dominate any battlefield. Someone like Kaido or Mihawk would be a great pick for Armament haki, but we've already used them earlier. But don't worry, because we actually still have the Pirate King's greatest rival and the hero of the Marines, Monkey D. Garp. Just like Roger, Garp never relied on a devil fruit, and the two fought multiple times with neither being able to score a decisive victory. Garp's specialty was always overwhelming physical power amplified by his armament haki, and his galaxy impact was so powerful it even split apart Hachinosu. Pairing Garp's armament haki with our character's other abilities means every attack comes with unstoppable force, while they can also put up an impenetrable defense. Next up, we have observation haki, and this list can be narrowed down pretty quickly by choosing only future sight users. Now, Charlotte Katakuri did have pretty intense future sight, but not even he can hold a candle to the best observation user we've seen so far, Shanks. During the Egghead arc, Shanks demonstrated that he can see up to 10 seconds into the future with his observation haki, and managed to take out Kid and Killer with just one blow. Shanks' haki also has incredible range, as he could sense Green Bull from miles away in Wano country. This level of observation haki would give our character precognition, enhanced reflexes, and the ability to sense intentions, making them nearly impossible to ambush or surprise. And finally, we have a bit of a wild card. The last trait on our list is luck, because even the strongest warrior needs fortune on their side. We're taking Buggy's ridiculous luck for this, because he's basically stumbled his way into becoming a Yonko despite being relatively weak. He accidentally became a warlord, accidentally became the leader of a massive mercenary organization, and somehow always ends up in the right place at the right time. At this point, he's even commanding the likes of Crocodile and Mihawk, and this plot armor level of luck would ensure that our character always gets that clutch moment or that unexpected advantage when they need it most. So there you have it, the strongest One Piece character. Are there any traits that we can improve? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below.